Hi, welcome back to the Distressed Princess. For those of you who didn't know, I was on quarantine for quite a few days because my husband had the COVID and today was my release date. And so I felt compelled to get out of the house. Finally, I'm able to go out and be amongst the people, my people, and my people are at the antique store. So here I am driving in my hometown, and this is our town square. There's the courthouse, and there are a few antique stores and junk stores and specialty stores. There's some boutiques on the square too. And today I'm just going to go to my very favorite one, and you all get to go shopping with me. And I'm going to show you what I look for when I go thrifting and antiquing and junking. So here we are at the Vienna Town Square Mall located in Vienna, Illinois. And already before I even get in the door, there's great stuff waiting for me outside. It is almost all I can take to pass up an old window or an old door, and $10 a piece is a really good deal. Look, this one even already had a hanger on it, just ready for hanging. So then I went inside the store, and the first thing I'm greeted with is a big sale sign. So a lot of booths had sales going on today. The first thing that caught my eye was that gray bar stool, and it was $15. It would have been 25% off of that. I thought that would have been a great deal. And this thing, who wouldn't love to have this awesome antique in their home? However, I am a very cheap shopper when it comes to thrifting, antiquing. Well, I mean, as you can imagine, Dollar Tree is like my favorite store outside of thrift stores and junk stores. So yeah, that ice chest was way over my budget. So I turned to some rolling pins, and they were a little more than I wanted to pay for rolling pins. But look at this neat old TV. Have you ever seen people refurbish these into little bar carts? Like they put their bottles of liquor inside of there and put wallpaper inside. It's so cool. Or I've seen them transformed into cat houses. Then I saw this bread box. I already have a bread box in my possession to redo at some point, but you can always find bread boxes to redo. And I also found, oh look, everything is on sale. This was a really good booth. Everything was on sale in this booth, just about. And up there in that basket is some stamping supplies, some wooden block stamps. And I had gotten into stamping there for a while. I haven't stamped anything for a bit, but always don't overlook craft supplies. You can get your supplies at junk stores and antique stores. I didn't purchase these. They were not the original. They were marked down from that $15. I didn't purchase them because I don't feel like I need any more stamps right now, but it would have been a good bargain for somebody looking. And the old piece of barn wood that someone turned into a nice decoration caught my eye. I thought that was really cute. I used to be really obsessed with quilts. I would buy quilts every time that I saw them in the antique stores and the junk stores, if I could get a bargain on them, of course. But I've kind of slowed down on that, and I realized I have plenty, so I moved on from that booth. And this is really just stuff that makes my heart flutter. These cherries and strawberries, these old tablecloths, the vintage 40s and 50s tablecloths, I collect those too, and I have quite a big collection of them, but you can find them pretty cheap. This was a really good deal for $6. I count myself lucky if I can find one for $10 or less, and yes, they're always going to have stains, and there are ways of removing most of the stains or just displaying them so that the stains don't show, but they are so cute in a farmhouse kitchen. Then I saw that enamelware pot full of wooden, they're calling them candle holders, but they're just pieces of wood. And then I spotted something. It's not an antique. Obviously, it's not an antique. That doesn't matter to me. I thought it looked farmhouse. I thought it looked really cute. And the price tag said $2.50. So that's going to be my icebreaker today. It's going home with me. Moving on down the line, I spotted this. It looks like a new box of some really cute farmhouse jars with lids and straws. It was $16 for the set, and it's not something that I really needed, but I thought it was really cute. And right underneath of that was a whole basket full of pieces of hardware. And I really considered these knobs. I've been wanting something like these. Well, I guess they're more pulls instead of knobs, but I really thought about them because they are what's trending right now. I believe I don't know if they're called bar pulls or what they are, but they're the long bars. And so I thought about it for a minute, and then I put them back because I just wasn't for certain what I would use them for. They could be handles for a tray if you wanted to make a tray. That would have been really a good idea, but ultimately I put them back. The next thing I spotted, I thought was a wooden cube with just a really cool embellishment on the front of it, but it turned out to be a drawer, and I really liked it. And the price was $6, so that is my second pick of the day. I fell in love with the front of that drawer. I really enjoyed this booth a lot. It had a lot of things that I love to look at, and Lord help me, I'm a freak about glassware. And all these old vintage jars, they call to me, but my cheapness tells me no, not unless they're just a couple bucks. So I let those go, but they were really cool to look at. But look at all these really neat glass pieces. I just love them all. These old canisters I loved, and that green shutter in the background is really cute. This whole booth was just set up really cute. And yeah, it was hard to walk away from some of the things here. Just around the corner is something that will always stop me in my tracks. Look at that old metal kitchen cabinet. Oh, Lord have mercy, help me. And that jadeite bowl. At least it looks like it's jadeite. I don't know. I'm not a professional jadeite hunter, but I love that green bowl. But yeah, more than what my budget is allowed to spend today, and I don't really have a place. Now, moving on to the suitcase. Have you ever seen people paint the suitcases? I have that on my list of things that I want to try to do someday, so I took a look at this one. I'm just not really for certain what kind of suitcase I need to find to do this project. This was the right price. It was only $8, but I haven't studied on what the right kind of suitcase is for a project like that yet. And over here in this booth was some really cute stuff, and I think I find one more item that I am going to purchase in this booth. If you know me well, what do you think I'm going to pick up? Well, first I spot this, and I thought it was metal. I thought it was going to be iron. When I picked it up, it was plastic. For $2, I contemplated it. Could I make it look like metal? Because I thought it fooled me at first. I thought maybe it was metal and I could just paint it. But no, if you look close, it had this little piece like chipped out of it on each side. I mean, it's supposed to be that like that. And so that gave away that it was plastic. So I passed on that. But here is what I am going to get. These old, well, I'm assuming they're old. I don't know if they're really antique or not. Who knows? But they're really cute farmhouse looking iron fork and spoon. They're going in my little drawer box, and they're coming home with me. Is it just me, or when you go into an antique store or junk store and you come across something like this old makeup compact? Well, there was like 3 of them here on this table. Do you just picture, you know, the lady who might have used this way back in whatever year it was? I mean, in my mind, it's the 20s. I'm sure they're not really that old, but I don't know. I just love it. Just conjures all kinds of really cool pictures in my head of a lady wearing a nice hat, putting on her makeup, getting ready to go out for the evening, carrying this in her purse. Look, this one has peacocks on it. And also, look at this. It still had powder inside of it. I thought that was just so cool. And if I were a collector of such things, I would have bought them. They were not expensive at all, but just really cool to look at. As I suspected, this is an Avon. I don't know if it was a bottle of lotion, but it kind of called to me too. But wouldn't these things be so cute on a dresser, a vintage bedroom dresser? I think so. Okay, here is another something that I would totally purchase if I had a use for it, a place for it. This step ladder. It has all the elements that I love for a farmhouse. It's white, it's chippy, it's old. It even has a cross in the back. And also enamelware. Oh, I used to just collect enamelware. Every time I saw a piece, I would get it, but I have plenty of that, so I passed. Another thing that you can find readily available in most antique stores, junk stores, thrift stores are these shutters. And these can be used for multitudes of decorating purposes, and they're not very expensive, usually $10 a piece. Sometimes you can even find them cheaper. Now, just the same as I love to collect glassware, there was a point in time where I used to collect all kinds of linens. I call them linens. And that included crochet stuff, embroidered stuff, lace stuff, tablecloths, handkerchiefs, just all of it. And yeah, I like to display them in my bedroom and pretty much all over my fake farmhouse. Ooh, more booths downstairs. If you see a sign in your antique store, junk store, thrift store, there's more downstairs or more upstairs, don't pass it up, because usually, in my experience, that's where you find the best deals, guys. This booth was a farmhouse lover's dream. At first, I came across this white table. And then look at all this white hobnail. This stuff is so pretty. Those lamps in a bedroom, even the light fixtures, if you wanted to have an authentic feeling farmhouse, you need this stuff. You need this stuff in your life. The red and white stuff always appeals to me for like a 1950s kitchen or a cottage style farmhouse kitchen. And so I already have a set of ironstone plates and bowls. I love them for just displaying. Of course, Pyrex dishes and Corningware and the Fire King. I love those all too. And of course, mason jars. And my personal favorite, the blue mason jars. And you'll find these in a variety of different kinds and sizes and colors and shapes and different prices. And there is a place online where it tells you how to price your mason jar, because there are marks on the bottom of the mason jars and different details on the mason jars that will tell you what they're actually worth. And my heart also goes out to these bar carts like this. This was $25. And I think over at White Sparrow Living, she just redid one of these carts for her outside patio, and it was so cute. You can usually paint these right up, put whatever design you want on them, and they're stinking adorable. If I can find the link to how to price the mason jars, I'll link that because it's really interesting. So check out my description box below. I'll leave links for everything I can. Now, on to this, the farmhouse table. Just look at this nice $50 price tag. That's awesome. And even though the legs, you can tell that the side of it, the legs, they're not original. And I would prefer a more rustic looking, bottom and legs. I wouldn't let that stop me. If I were in the market for a kitchen table, I would hands down buy this kitchen table and paint that side part and the legs white, or even replace the legs with some spindle legs or something. But that was a great price on a farmhouse kitchen table. If you can have just like for your breakfast nook or something, trust me, it's so cute. Another thing that I find really fun to look at in the antique stores is the old aprons. That's another thing that just comes to mind. You know, the lady that made the apron and baking, wearing the apron and everything, and everyone wore aprons, you know, way back when. And so I just love to buy these on occasion. They just make me happy, and it's only a couple bucks. It was like $2. And I just couldn't help myself. I knew that that apron would be so stinking cute with that farmhouse table. I had to show you how cute that apron would look if it were just laying on that table. In a lot of antique stores now, you'll find a section that looks like it's all stuff that came out of somebody's barn. And you can get really creative with this stuff, like the old rake heads, turning those into coat hangers. And you know, it's really neat to look through this stuff and think about what you can use. And then what did I come across but a whole pile of suitcases. And I still just wasn't sure what kind of suitcase that I'm needing for my project that I have in mind. But this one called to me. Look at this suitcase, and it was marked down 50% off, so it wouldn't be very much money. And I don't know, I loved the texture of the outside. It seemed really old. And my first thing was to figure out how to open it, because the latches didn't just pull up, but there's a secret. And this is no doubt one of the things that made me love this suitcase so much was that you slide that little button. See that little button right there? Slide it and it pops right open. Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. Just look at the inside. It was blue satin. Now, was that something that was just high quality for back then? I don't know. It doesn't, the blue satin does not go with anything that I would have in my house. It just wouldn't. But I don't think I would have the heart to try to replace it, because the suitcase was so stinking old and cool. And it still had this sticker on it. So I'm automatically imagining who carried this suitcase. And it must have been on a ship, because look, it's talking about staterooms and such. So, Lord, could it have been on the Titanic? I don't know. I loved this suitcase to pieces. I'm kind of wishing I would have bought it. Maybe I need to go back and get it. I definitely don't want to paint it, though. It would break my heart to paint over, and it's not the suitcase I needed for the project that I have in mind, but I did love it. When I went back upstairs, I had to revisit the booth that had all the awesome sales. And when I revisited it, I really took a look at that pink lunchbox. It's a pink metal checkety lunchbox, and I adored it. And of course it was on sale. And when I opened it up, I loved it even more, because then I pictured it opened up in my kitchen with some things inside of it. And boy, this was really, really hard to pass up. And if you ever find yourself in this situation, because I loved this lunchbox, I really, truly did, but it's pink. I don't have anything pink in my kitchen. It doesn't go with anything in my kitchen, or really anything in my house for that matter. It just doesn't go. So I thought, all right, you're gonna leave this for some other lucky shopper, because what a cute find it was, and it'll just be sitting there looking all cute and pink for someone else. Also in this booth, where everything was on really good sale, was this turquoise blue kitchen container. I know it's not antique, but it was priced lower than $5. I forget what the orange sticker was, but it was going to be less than $5. I think it was 40% off, so whatever that makes it. And it matches a lot of my Pioneer Woman stuff that I have in my kitchen, so that was the next thing and the last thing to go home with me. And before I left the store, I wanted to show you these shirts that someone made. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I'm pretty sure they were made with a sublimation printer, and I was just sent a sublimation printer to try out. So I'm going to be trying to make some of these shirts. If you're interested in seeing how that goes, stay tuned to my upcoming videos as I try to figure out the sublimation printer and how to make these really cute shirts. When I got home, I had a nosy critter that wanted to see inside of my bags. If you were keeping track, the tally came to about $21 at the store, which I thought was a really good price for all that I got. And here's how I styled all my new finds. The tea canister I put by my coffee pot. The iron fork and spoon I put over near my coffee station, and I love them there. The turquoise jar went on top of one of my cabinets with my turquoise cookie jar and some enamelware that I have. The vintage apron was hung on my cabinet door. And I used the old wooden drawer to hold my utensils. So it was really an awesome first day out of quarantine. I really enjoyed myself. If you're looking for something to do and you're in Vienna, Illinois, go see Jennifer at the Vienna Town Square Mall and pick up some nice stuff. Thanks for watching, everyone, and going shopping with me. We'll be back to the DIYs on Tuesday, and until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.